Shalom, 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 Israel, right? Shalom, all of the men, right? Women, children, get built up in this faith, enduring this truth in these last days, constantly enduring and setting their mind to right, through the Spirit. This is just an exhortation lesson through the Spirit, real quick before camp. Really, just going into continuing to put your hand to the plow, really just going into staying, the course, right, and minding all manner of things that you put your mind to, man, right, and continuing to apply yourself, man, right. In these last days, there's going to be a lot of tests, there's going to be a lot of trials, there's going to be a lot of adversity, right. It's going to be a lot of rocks in the hard place, man, right. A lot of situations where you find yourself in a bind, man, right. We're going to kick it off, and this is, you know, explicitly or strictly going through the Spirit, right. There's no lesson drawn out right now, right? We're going to move through the Spirit, right, that the Most High puts on his servants in these last days, right? Because at the end of the day, the Spirit is heard of all men, right? The Spirit is heard of all those souls that are enlightened through this, through wisdom, right? So let's go to Lamentations chapter 1, verse number 3. It says, Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction and because of great servitude. She dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. Right? And here I'm going to read on. It says, the ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh. Her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. Hey, a lot of us are in bitterness, man. A lot of us are deprived in the spirit. A lot of us are walking around on the darkness of our nation, right? Because, hey, you have just a remnant that's woken up to this truth, that has understood the things, right, that the Lord has put within our spirit, man, right? And so in these last days, we have to continue, right, to do good, right, for those souls that are walking on in darkness, that have no hope, that have no faith, man. It's up to us to heal the brokenhearted, right? To help the afflicted, right, and the widows, you understand, right? Let's go to Galatians chapter 6, right? This is the book of Galatians chapter 6 and verse number 9. It says, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men. This is the opportunity that's been given to you where you could constantly try to do better, man, and utilize the Most High's grace and mercy, right, to help you get to where you're trying to go, right, to help you become that best version of yourself. Let me get this quick precept through the Spirit, right, to kind of hone in on that point, right, and specify, right, the direness, right, of taking righteous advantage of this truth, man. Taking righteous advantage of the relationship that you have with the Most High that a lot of people do not, right? This is 2 Ezra chapter 7 and verse number 66. It reads, and that he is of great mercy. Salakia, right? Let's start up at verse number 63, right? Or 62, my bad, right? It says, I answered then and said, I know, Lord, that the Most High is called merciful, in that he hath mercy upon them which are not yet come into the world, and upon those also that turn to his law, and that he is patient and long suffereth those that have sinned as his creatures, right? So a lot of us have went the heck off, man, in past times, doing all manner of things that we ought not to, man. Whether it be the company we kept, right? The lewd activities that we might have indulged in, right? Destroying our temple, right? And not cherishing the body that the Most High gave to us as a vessel, you understand? And using it to the purpose that it's meant to be used for, as it tells you in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, man, right? Hey, these different things, man, the Lord still was patient, right? He still forgave us and still exercised that mercy towards us as his children, you understand? Right, let's read on real quick. It says, and that he is of great mercy. It's like I skipped over 65, right? It says, and that he is bountiful for he is ready to give where it needed. And the Lord is ready to sit there and give you anything that you need, man. Right? Let's get that in the book of Psalms, chapter 37. This is why it's important, you understand, to utilize the righteousness, you understand, that the Lord puts within your spirit, man. The Lord's constantly trying to stir you up to get stronger, to get mightier, to get better, man, to get more zealous, to get more on fire. And all you do is turn it down every time it feels like it's becoming too much. Every time you're going through these trials, right? You sit there and you kind of sit over in the corner, man. Now you're reevaluating things. You're trying to make plans and provisions and different stuff of that nature, aside from the course that you've already been following and are approved to follow. You understand? Now you're trying to sit there and call audibles and different stuff of that nature. No, stay the course, man. This is what you signed up for at the end of the day, man. You have to go through the thick and you also have to go through the thin, man. Right? We're going to get a couple of precepts going into that in just a few. But I really want to harp on this point because at the end of the day, we have to make sure, again, we have to make sure that we're utilizing the things that the Lord has granted unto us, has given us, man. We can't take these things for granted, man. The Lord all gave us talents. The Lord gave us all portions, man. And with that portion, you got to sit there and make more of it. You got to make a whole meal, right? You might sit there and only get the ingredient list, man. It's up to you to go get the ingredients, right? And put together what you need to put together, man. Right? But what's going to help you through that, man? And the Most High's tools that he's telling you all throughout the scriptures that he has given to you, man. Prayer, fasting, giving alms and charity, man. Right? What's another one? Giving unto your, I already said charity, right? And those are just a couple to name a few, right? Off the top of my head, right? But you have many different things. Constantly exhorting your nation, right? Counseling people that need it, you understand, through the experience that you've gained in this truth, you understand, that's this form of alms and charity as well, right? So these different things are important to exercise because the Lord's not giving them to you for no reason. He's not giving you these life stories for no reason, man. The testimonies, the trials, the strongholds that you go through, man, right? It's all not for no reason, right? It's all for a reason. At the end of the day, is to further your enlightenment and to further your wisdom, so that you may profess unto others, man, what you have learned through walking in this journey, right? Let's go to Psalm chapter 37, verse 4. Right, we're going to read verse 3. Trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Right, so if you're delighting yourself in Yahweh Shem Yahweh, man, you don't have to worry about anything at the end of the day. He's going to make sure that you have what you need, man. Right? He's going to make sure that he gives everything to you that you're a requirement of, man. Right? As long as you're listening to him. Just as a father, right? There's many brothers in this truth, right, that have kids. You understand? Your son might ask you for something. Your daughter might ask you for something. Hey, Dad, I want these new kicks. Right? Hey, I want to go play with my friends. Hey, I want to go do X, Y, and Z. Hey, what does this scripture mean? Right? And you break those things down, man, to help them out. Whether you go get them the kicks, right? Because they might need them for school, right? Or they just want to, they want to look fly. And they've been doing what they're supposed to be doing, man. Right? So you go ahead and give them what they need, man. Right? You give them what they want, right? So, the same thing is how the Most High works for us, right? It's not supposed to be an unbalanced relationship. Right? No. The Lord tells us to do something, we ought to obey it, right? And walk in that, right? And will receive the rewards for doing such, right? So, Salaki, real quick, let me read this real quick. We're not going to get that. That's all good, right? So, continuing on, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. I believe that's what I want. Right, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and verse number 11. It says, this whole chapter, man. Start at verse number 9. Start at verse number 8, right? It says, damn. Right. Salakia, right? We're going to start at verse number 7. Right? It says, wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. A lot of us prayed to enter into this truth, man. A lot of us asked for this, man. Was on our knees crying, man. Asking what's our purpose. Asking what we're supposed to be doing, man. All the way down the road, 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, right? The Most High trying to give you your purpose, and you running away from him, man. Don't forget just a couple of years ago when you was crying, begging the Lord for a purpose, man. Asking for a new life. Asking for a deeper meaning, man. Asking to be a servant, man. Don't forget those things. Keep them on your frontlets, man. Because it's moments like this when we're inching towards the end, man, that's going to truly matter. That's going to keep you motivated and driven to understand that you have a purpose in this race for, right? You have a purpose in this race, man. That you're meant to be here, man. Because the Most High put you here. Right? So let's read on. It says, wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon Yahweh, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. I preferred her before scepters and thrones, and esteemed riches. Nothing in a comparison of her. There's nothing that compares to wisdom, man. Everybody always wants to talk about when I get rich, right? When I get money, when I get paid, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this for my people. I'm going to do that for my people. I'm going to do this for my people, right? When they say even in the world that money only makes you 10 times of a person that you already were. So if you're not doing it right now, what makes you think that you're going to do it when you have it? If you're not doing it with wisdom and righteousness and this truth that the Most High blessed you with, what the heck makes you think that you're going to be able to do it with just another tool that's far less superior, or it's not even of superiority, man, right? But far less worth than wisdom, man. Don't even compare. You understand? Let's read on. It says, neither compared I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as a little sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her. I loved her above health and beauty, and chose to have her instead of light, for the light that cometh from her never goeth out. Right? Even the light, man, and you need light just for a lot of things, man. Without light, you can't see. Can't see what you're doing. You're just walking in darkness. You try to feel things around you, man. Right? What's a form of light, man? Right? What are some forms of light? Obviously, we got LED bulbs now, right? You got fluorescent lights, right? But the fire as well, man. That light, man, right? That you got to kind of spark and start up, man, right? Hey, you desire wisdom over that physical fire, man. You need that fire to stay warm physically. You need that fire to cook, right? Hey, but guess what? Wisdom is better than all those things, man. So I desire wisdom. You're willing to starve for wisdom, man. Let's read on. It says, I loved her above health and beauty, and chose to have her instead of light, for the light that cometh from her never goeth out. All good things together, all good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches is in her hands. And I rejoiced in them all, because wisdom goeth before them, and I knew not that she was the mother of them. I learned diligently, and do communicate her liberally. I do not hide her. I do not hide her riches. Right? You gotta express these different things that you learn through wisdom, man. Everything that the Most High is teaching you, and you gotta sit there and profess these things, man. Don't just hold it back, man. This is riches that you're sharing to people, man. Your story is worth more than damn Jeff Bezos' net worth, Elon Musk's net worth, all combined, man. Your story, your testimony, your walk in this truth is much more valuable than anything that any man has to present in this current earth. Share it, man. Share your story. Shine your light, man. Just like it tells you in the book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse number 14, it says, ye are a light, right? a city that cannot be hid, man. Right? So we have to make sure that we doing these different things not only to please the Most High, but to better ourselves, man. Guess what? Because when you start to share things, you watch how the Spirit works, man. You start to share things, things that you have learned, things that you come to an understanding of. Even if you're sitting there questioning something in your mind, you might sit there and pose that question to somebody, man. Hey, and the Spirit will work, right? The Spirit will work, and guess what? That question gets answered. You sit there and receive a testimony that's likened unto yours, and guess what? You've kind of made a new acquaintance, man. Right? That could possibly turn to be a friend, man. And then a brother down the road, man. Obviously, it all goes with time and experience, right? Improving each other, of course, right? But these different things you wouldn't know unless you communicated wisdom liberally, man. If you're not communicating wisdom, what are you communicating? Folly, vanity, right? The desires of this world, covetousness, lust, right? We have no choice but to sit there and communicate wisdom, man. That's the good for us, man. Keeping these laws and these precepts within us, man, and communicating and expressing these things, right? Letting them be shown. Let's read on. It says, I do not hide her riches, right? And Jake, you asked this question to Jake, man. If they won $100 million tomorrow, right? What do they even be posting, man? They say, if I was to win the lottery, man, right? I wouldn't tell nobody, but there would be signs. What you think that means, man? You still showing it. Right, and they might have the picture with the now they got a damn crocodile necklace or a purse. Now they got a crocodile bag. Right? Got damn gator boots. Right? Or what's another thing, man, that Jake could just go freak off and buy, man. Right? Now you got a damn Alaskan King mattress for no reason. Brother, it's just you. You got a 9-bedroom house that echoes, right? Because you have no need for excess amount of furniture, man. You don't got no family. It's just you, right? You got all these different things, man, right? If you would do those things with the carnal riches of this world, why can't you go that much further for wisdom, which is invaluable and is of innumerable riches, which is far superior than what anything in this world has to offer, man? Because guess what? A lot of the times, I don't know if y'all forget it, you know what I'm saying? Even myself, if I forget it, you know what I'm saying? If we don't take these things into account, but hey, wisdom is the key to life. Wisdom is that golden ticket, man, to the kingdom. Just like you needed that golden ticket to get to the Willy Wonka chocolate factory, man, right? And you need wisdom to get to the kingdom of the Lord, man. Right? Salakia, let's read on real quick. It says, for she is a treasure unto men that never faileth, which they that use become the friends of Yahweh. You see that? I said we was going through the Spirit. I ain't had this precept in my lineup. Right? But this literally ties exactly into what we're going into through the Spirit, man. What I initially sat there and said we were going to go into, man. Right? Let's read it one more time. It says, for she is a treasure unto men that never faileth, which they that use become the friends of Yahweh, being commended for the gifts that come from learning. You see that, man? If you're utilizing the riches that the Lord is providing you with, which is wisdom, you become a friend to the Most High God, man. Right? And Abraham, and guess what? For Abraham was a friend to the Most High God. Why? Because he was using the wisdom that the Lord was giving him, man. He was listening and being obedient. I think Abraham was bucking up against the Lord, man. And then in the same breath being called a friend of the Most High. Right? It's not possible, man. Right? It's not. That wasn't happening, man. right? You got to sit there and actually apply these accounts, man, into your life and ask yourself, if I was in that position, right, would I have done the same thing? Would I have been in the same spirit? Would that have been my first thought? And if your answer is anything other than yes, then you need to do further examination, right, and to try to get your spirit back in, on fire, right? Because we say we're so desirous, man, to sit there and be likened unto our righteous forefathers, man. But when you walk in this current day in life, you're doing a whole lot of things that your forefathers wouldn't have dared to do, man. Right? So lucky. I know we kind of went on a little rant through the spirit, right? But it's all for the betterment of the nation at the end of the day. And it's all to continue to profess good things, right? Using the gifts that the Most High has given unto us, right? And so, like, I want one more verse in this, right? This is verse 15. It says, Yahweh hath granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is meet for the things that are given me, because it is he that it is he that leadeth unto wisdom and directeth the wise. You see that, man? So the Lord is the one that brought you to wisdom in the first place, man. The Lord is the one that gave you that gift, man, of understanding and enlightenment. And how do you repay him, man? How do you repay him? Let's get that in Matthew chapter 25. How do a lot of you jakes repay the Lord for the wisdom that he has granted unto you, man? The knowledge, the testimonies, the struggles that you were brought out of, man. How do you repay the Lord, man? Right? This is Matthew chapter 25, right? And we're going to start at verse number 24. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed, and I was afraid. What do you got to be scared of, man? You scared to fail? You scared to stay in the same spot and learn something new? You scared to progress on a larger scale? It says, and I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. Right? So, all that you asked for, man, all of a sudden it was just too much. Right? That's why the Lord had to ask the, men, hey, are you Slakia, right, the mother of the 2 men, if I'm not mistaken, right? He had to ask, man, right, are they willing to drink of the cup? Roughly paraphrasing, man. Right? And they said they are willing. You understand? That's why when you sit there and you kind of come into this thing, man, the Lord put you through a lot of things that's going to try your patience, man. Are you really going to sit there and endure this thing? Are you really in this thing for the right reasons? Are you really sincere? Do you really want this? Yeah, you prayed for it. Yeah, you asked for it. Right? But that was in your ignorance. Lord kind of puts certain sprinkles into your life, man. Whether it be the people that you might see or meet, right? Whether it just be the things that you heard from family, friends of family, whatever the case may be. You understand? And they tell you about certain things that you might have been asking for, man. A lot of people, they want to sit there and just get money from certain professions, man. And then they find out that profession ain't all so sweet. Right? But, Slakia, let's read this one more time. It says, and I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there hast thou that is thine. Right? And what the Lord say? His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. It would have been better for you, right? We understand what it's saying on a literal sense, right? Right? When it's saying that talent, right? You could have sat there and gave that resource over to the banks, you know what I'm saying? The people that exchange the currencies and different stuff of that nature, because there was a barter system that was in place back in the day. You understand? We're not going to go down the rabbit hole and explain all of this. You want to get more information on it, look into it for yourself, right? We're not going to go too deep into it through the spirit, because that's not what the lesson's about, right? But on a spiritual sense, you understand, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding that the Most High gave to you, it would have been better for you to give it to a man that was actually going to use that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the Lord would have still blessed you. The Lord would have still looked out for you, man. Because guess what? What they got in the world, man, they got a finder's fee. Right? You find somebody that's capable of getting the job done. And you give them a reference to the person that's looking for that job to get accomplished. And that middleman, he gets a reward, man. Now, it's not going to be the same reward, right, that the person that's fulfilling the job is going to get, but you still get a reward, man. It's better for you to do that than to just sit there and hold back, throw your hands up and say, hey, look, I give up. I don't want this. I'm going to just put it over here, man, and I'm going to wait for the Lord to come back. I'm going to just hold it in the back of my head. Every time it comes up in conversation, I'm going to say, oh, yeah, I knew that. Oh, yeah, I had that thought not too long ago, man. What profit is that? What profit do you get from that, man? None. All you do is holding back your wisdom, man. Wisdom that could be saving your nation, man. Wisdom that could be helping that brother, man, get to the next step that he's been struggling and slipping and falling to try to get to. You could be an inspiration to somebody else, man. But we don't count that cost, man. All we want to do is think about ourselves. All we want to think about is how difficult it's going to be for little old me. We don't ever think about the rewards and the fruits from it, other than the monetary things, man. Talk about, I love my nation, I love my people. I want my people to do better, man. But you're holding back things that are going to help build up your nation, man. Right? So, I mean, we got to just continue to strive to do better, man. Right? Let's go to Sirach. Right? Salaki, I want to finish this account, though, actually. Right? It says 27. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You see that? Because you want it to be selfish, and you didn't want to sit there and think about the next person for even 2 seconds. Lord said, hey, you out of here, man. And I'm still going to take that talent and give it to that man, right, that already got talents, man. Because guess what? He knows how to get the job done. You could have simply been the person to say, hey, look, this is a little bit too much for me to bear. Let me just pass it to the next person that I know is going to be able to be receptive to it and get it done. But no, you don't think about that. No, you don't even count the cost of that, man. You keep it for yourself, right? And the Lord ends up doing it for you anyways, man. The Lord sat there and told us, man, you can do nothing against this truth but for this truth, man. You constantly try to work against the Most High. Guess what? He's going to force you to work with him, man, for a split season. And then he's going to judge you for not working with him in the first place, man. Because your faith was low and diminished. right? So let's go to Sirach chapter 2 and verse number 1. All right, we're going to get a couple more. We're going to wind down through the spirit. Like I said, got to head over to camp. But this was on my spirit to get to the body and to the nation. Nevertheless, like I said, it's just an exhortative lesson, and it was just on my spirit, right? This is not a lesson that I drew up or nothing like that I wrote out, right? Simply stuff that's been on my mind. All right, but this is Sirach chapter 2 and verse number 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble, right? So the Lord's telling you straight up and down, before you even sit there and commit yourself, man, prepare yourself for these things, man. And sometimes it's going to feel like a runaway train where you can't stop, where it's one thing after the next thing, 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 after the next thing. You might get a little bit of rest, but then it picks right back up. The Lord's saying, be ready for that, because it's going to happen. Whether it happens in the beginning, whether it happens at the end, whether it kind of happens in the middle, right? It's going to happen. And you got to make sure you're in the right mindset. You got to make sure that you have your heart in the right place, which is your mind. Right? Because how could you set your heart aright? Which you're going to reach into your chest, you're going to your cavity, right? Your heart cavity, kind of twisting your heart, right? Trying to manipulate it, right? Put it in the right direction. Right? Say, well, we pray to the east, so let me just go ahead and try to, right? Turn it this way. No, it's talking about your mind, man. Get your mind right. Get your spirit in order, man. Right? It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. And whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. Right? Hey, you got to take these things cheerfully, man, because why? When you're going through these things, you know that the Lord is only doing it for building you up, man. You know that, hey, you can always lean on the Lord, man. Right? The Lord didn't put manifold scriptures within the Bible for us to read and say, yeah, he did say that, but, still, but you always got a but. Watch the brother that always got a but. There's always something in addition. Yeah, you right, but. What do you mean, but? Right? Yeah, man. Right? You gotta watch that spirit, man. Always there. That's basically you saying, yeah, I heard what you said. I don't care. I'm still gonna discredit it. Because you feel like whatever you got to say is better. And more than likely it's not. Especially if it's coming from the scriptures. Right? It said, if any man speak, let him speak of the oracles of Yahweh. Right? If it's coming from these scriptures, man, these things be true, man. And our forefathers have been living off of these scriptures for years, decades, centuries, millennials. Right? We got to sit there and keep these things in our mind, man. Right? And the reason why I chiefly went into this point is because, Psalms 55 and 22 came into my mind, man. It said, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee, man. Exodus chapter 14 and verse number 14, man. Right? The Lord shall fight for thee, man. Right? Lord don't got these precepts in your mind for no reason, man. But you still want to work. You still want to surfeit, right? Kind of twiddling your thumbs, wondering what's the next best move. Well, the Lord already revealed it to you, man. And if you're trying to sit there and find some other way or some other plan, hey, guess what? It's not going to work, man. The Lord said in Proverbs, man, hey, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and he turneth it whithersoever he will, man. You think that you got something set up, and guess what? The Lord going to sit there and have you do something that you thought you couldn't do, man. Have you do something that you didn't even plan on doing, man. Right? It said, man's goings are the ways of the Lord, man. Who then can understand his own ways? In Proverbs 20 and 24. All right, but let's read on. Or Salaki, let's just read forward one more time. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. All right, so take these things cheerfully at the end of the day, because this is all a part of your journey. The journey that you're supposed to be sharing. Remember that. The journey that you're supposed to be sharing. To help to increase your nation. Right? Because, where the heck will we be without these scriptures, man? Where the heck will we be, right, without the testimonies of the Most High? This is Romans 15 and 4. It says, whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. Right? If it wasn't for these things right here that we read on a daily, man, and meditate upon, right, our learning will be diminished, man. It's not to say that the Lord can't put hands on you, man, right, and work with you directly. You understand? Because that's, how the Spirit of Christ, kind of worked with Paul. Right? He went from Saul, right, repented, and was converted, right, and walked as Paul, enlightened by the Most High. Preaching unto, our nation that was cast away, led into idolatry, sin, wickedness, the ways of the heathen, right? So, yeah, man. Constantly put in the work, man. You putting in the work, it doesn't always just consist of, camp. Obviously you keeping the commandments, that's the basics, man. Right? It doesn't always just consist of, charity, right? And when I say charity, I mean physical charity, giving away to the homeless and different stuff of that nature, right? It doesn't always just consist of fasting, praying. Now, I'm not trying to dilute these things. These are all very important things. But you also have to factor in that you have to let your light shine. You have to share your story, man. You have to write your book. Brothers get out there on the highways and byways and pick up that microphone and they say, yeah, man, prophets of the Most High, servants of the Most High, which is not false, right? We are fulfilling the Most High's will by doing as what he had commanded us to do. Going out to the highways and byways, bidding people to the marriage, right? Bringing them back to the fold, right? But it shouldn't only be camp where it's like that. It shouldn't only be on Friday and Saturday where it's like that, man. You should be devoting your time to also, furthering the message outside of just Friday and Saturday, man. Giving spiritual charity, man. Use your talents, man. Use your gifts, man. Right, we're going to end off on this. Here, Romans, it's like not Romans, 1 Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse number 1. Right? It says, follow after charity. Right? Bear with me just a second. Let's look up this word charity real quick. Right? The definition of charity, right? It says the voluntary giving of help, right? Typically in the form of money to those in need, right? So, obviously we know there's more resources than just monetary funds, Federal Reserve notes, right? Or money, right? We mind the spiritual things, you understand? So, giving those things to those that need it, that's the charity, man. It says, follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts, but rather that ye may prophesy, right? That you may give an account and testament or testimony, right, of the things that the Lord has given to you, man. For he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto men, right, but unto Yahweh, for no man understandeth him. Howbeit in the spirit he speaketh mysteries. But he that prophesieth speaketh unto men to edification and exhortation and comfort. Right? So you can't be speaking in a manner only you gonna understand, man. Right? And what does that mean? You know, it's basically just in other words, you keeping it to yourself, man. Right? And only the Most High is gonna understand what you're saying, essentially, man, or what you know, essentially, man. Right? You're essentially keeping it to yourself, right? That's to put it in layman's terms. But when you prophesying, you're doing it to what? To give unto those that need it, man. To give that comfort, to give that understanding, right? And to also give that edification and exhortation, man. Right? So, you know, constantly apply these things, man. Right? Keep them in mind at all times, man. Right? Keep them in mind at all times, man. Right? Bear with me just a second here. I'll pull up this precept. Right? If I can't get to it, then I can't get to it. It's all good. But right? Let me see if I can find it real quick. All right, it's all good. Right? We're gonna go ahead and read Revelations chapter 3. Right, the classic. I'm just gonna read Revelation chapter 3. All right, I got two precepts actually. Right, let's get First Peter. Right, it's First Peter chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, "For as much then as Hamashiach hath suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he should no longer live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Yahweh." Right? Hey, follow after that example that literally came down and walked upon the same earth that you living in right now, man. Take that example, man. Because what was Christ doing, man? What was Yahweh Shah doing when he was here, man? Thinking about everybody but himself, man. Thinking about the betterment of his nation, man. Right? And helping and aiding, right, to get us to where we need to be, man. Right? This is Revelation chapter 3 and verse number 2. "Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. For I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh." Right? And we're not perfect, man. Right? We strive to be, but we're not perfect at the end of the day. And we got to continue to strive to be perfect. We have to continue to strive to be blameless, because the moment that we stop trying, that's when imperfection and impudence starts to set in, man. The moment that you stop trying to be perfect, man, is the moment that you're content. And that's the moment that pride is going to start to pile up. And we already understand, you know, pride, right, goeth before destruction. All right? But with that, right, it's been the brother Lamad out of WFI Indianapolis, right? I want to bid a mighty shalom again to all of Israel, right? The men, the women, the children, brothers that are continuing to try to stay strong in this faith, sisters that are continuing to try to stay strong in this faith, children that are trying to continue to stay strong in this faith, and enduring all the temptations that come with this world and the enticements and the snares, man, right? And seeing the good in all things, understanding that, hey, the Most High God worketh in us a far greater reward than what this world has to offer. I'm going to say, Kwam Yasharallah, Shalom.